Hello, I'm Elgato and welcome back to Today in Minecraft History. This is a series I run on my channel from time to time when a big Minecraft item has a milestone birthday to let you know about the item's long history and also to let you know that something has turned a certain age, because today in Minecraft history, that's right, 7 years ago today, on January the 13th of 2011, the cake officially turned 7 years old. Or I guess it was officially introduced 7 years ago, but today that means it turned 7 years old, and that's right, cake is now 7 years old, which means that realistically you shouldn't be eating it, but more realistically, I wanted to talk about all the cool changes that it's had over its history, and hopefully you all do enjoy that. So please do like this if you do like it, because it helps out the channel. Let us know you do like Today in Minecraft history and learning about the history of an item, because the cake has changed quite a bit over its time, especially over the various versions, and yeah, it's gone from being a fairly interesting item in the game to being still very interesting, but in kind of different ways. So to explain what I mean by that, let's get straight into talking about the cool fact about the, cake, unlike a lot of the other items in Minecraft, because it was actually announced long before it was added to the game. A full 2 months before it was added, in November of 2010, that's right, we're talking really early Minecraft now, Notch actually made a fun little joke that he would add cake to the game if he won the 2010 Indie Game of the Year awards, and as it so turned out, he actually won 3 awards that year, because again, there was a big campaign from the community of like, let's get cake added to the game. So what he actually did is, obviously, he won the awards, so he had to implement cake. So the very first beta update, or the second beta update of the beta phase of the game, but the first of 2013, or 2011, sorry, years are confusing when they're so far back, but in the first update of that year, he decided to add cakes to the game, and when he added that, because he won the title, and when he first added them, they healed a whole 18 hearts, because again, the really crazy thing is, way back in beta 1.2, back in 2011, 7 years ago when this item was first added, it actually didn't used to work the exact same way, because the whole healing system was based off healing hearts, not off healing hunger. There was no hunger bar to speak of, just cover the right side of your screen up with hungers, and then you got a pretty good idea of how Minecraft works. So that meant that each slice would actually give you 3 health points worth recovery, which meant that just having one cake on you, because again, there were 6 slices, that's why it works like this, would give you essentially almost a full health bar worth recovery almost instantly, although every other food in the game was also instant at that point, which is something that only the cake really retained afterwards, because yeah, after adding the cake achievement, if you don't know, for baking a cake, you get the lie achievement on every platform that does have achievements in Minecraft. He also in 1.8 changed the game to have a hunger system. However, interestingly enough, even though cake has the hunger system, and every other food using hunger, like you have to slowly eat it, I'm sure you're familiar, with cake you can just instantly eat like you used to be able to before. Because cake is such a unique food, again, when it was first added, it was the only food you had to place down, you couldn't eat from your hotbar. Now it's an even more unique food, because it's the only food you have to place down to eat. It's the only food which has multiple eats, like of the same exact thing, and then it's also the only food which can be instantly eaten, which means, officially speaking, cake is the fastest form of healing in the game, or in terms of food at least, because all you have to do to get an entire 6 hunger bars done is you can place down the cake and you can eat like instantly, like just place and then you can eat the whole cake in less than a second if you spam your your left trigger or your right click, and that's kind of crazy if you ask me. So there you go, that is the cake, that is the crazy thing about the cake. But then slowly the cake has been updated even since then, so 1.8 or 1.0 when the game's officially updated, it became the weirdest food, and it kind of got weirder ever since then. So what makes it even weirder in my opinion is the fact that in the console edition, the legacy console edition, whatever we want to call it, the version of the game we're on right now, the edition version of the game, and now as of 1.2, the Bedrock, they decided to, for no reason that's ever been publicly stated, make cake stackable. That's right, console had an exclusive from day one that you could stack cakes if you really wanted to, both in terms of like this, but also in terms of having more than one per stack. On the PC, it was distinctly a 1 item per slot thing, but on the cake, it actually stacks up to 64. Again, very bizarre reason thing, never been explained, never been addressed in any way. It was just kind of like a thing of like, oh yeah, guess what, you can have cake that stacks, and do you want it? Yes, you can have that. So that's a thing, and then they obviously added this to the Bedrock edition, and it'll probably be coming to the Java edition at some point, and this means that just some random feature, still hasn't been explained to this day, is now becoming a Minecraft feature across all versions. Also, a kind of weird thing is there's recently as the 1.8 update, which, I mean, it's not so recent anymore, but like 3 years ago, they actually decided to change the cake in quite a few ways. The first one was making it from a 6-slice item, which, again, you might be able to tell, it's definitely not that anymore. It going from being a 6-slice item to being a 7-slice item. This is a very bizarre change. Again, never truly explained. Why does cake need an extra, bite to it? Well, I mean, who really knows? But the key thing now is that we have cake, we have an extra bite of the cake, and now you can eat an extra slice of cake, which makes it 1, I guess, like 6 better than it was before, and now it's 1/7 worse, or I guess it was 1/7 worse than it is now. So there you go, fun with fractions, fun with cake. But the other thing that makes this crazy is the fact that in that same update, they made it so when you crafted with a, you know, when you crafted your cake, because it's made from these ingredients, this is how you get the lie achievement, which, by the way, is a reference to Portal, if you didn't already get that. But the crazy thing about this is the cake, when it was first added, actually took your milk buckets away. But in this update, again, the 1.8 update, which, again, a lot of people hold up as being a very good update, they decided to change the cake from being not just, you know, like, oh yeah, so it's not just that it's going to give you your buckets back, but also if you do decide to craft cake, it will give you the empty buckets back into the crafting table so you can fill them up again and you can immediately craft another cake. Not that you can do that from a crafting table, but it's a change they decided to make quite a few times back and forth, and I thought that was rather interesting. The last thing that you're going to find rather interesting about the cake, or there's many things that you might find interesting, I have them all over the world, such as cake stairs. If you've never seen cake stairs, by the way, again, this is something that's like always existed, but it got better after obviously they made the cake even smaller. But cake stairs are obviously a concept where, as you can see, you can jump up cake because it's the only item which can have various values for the same thing. So by having a thing like this, we can have the steepest staircase in the game. Boom, cake stairs. It's wonderful, it's magical. I know you're all thinking that. But the other thing that you can do with cake as of 1.8 is they turned cake into a redstone item. You might be wondering, like, how the heck did they turn cake into redstone? And that's why I'm going to be mentioning this, because if you have a redstone comparator, you can actually measure the output of a cake, which means if you eat a certain amount of cake, like I kind of need to, you can actually turn on and off certain things. So you can see I've got cake and I've got it hooked up to a redstone lamp. But if we eat enough of the cake, then we'll actually you know, power down the redstone enough so that it cannot do that, so that it cannot reach the thing anymore. So we just jump around a bunch, we can actually eat the cake and we can make it so that the redstone light turns off. So that's right, cake redstone is a thing that officially exists. That is the threshold. I just ate some cake and it turns off the light. So have you ever wanted to measure cake and put it in your redstone? No? Well, guess what? You could do it as a 1.8 anyway. And yeah, that was the last time cake has been touched, but I don't think it'll be the last time cake is touched in the future, because there is like just a huge, I guess, almost fan base for this item. It's a crazy item with so many things to do, and honestly, I can make a billion videos talking about weird things with cakes because there's so many strange things. So for instance, just over here, you can see how the cake, even because it's like something like 7/8 of a block wide, even though it looks like it takes up a whole block, guess what? You can jump and you can land right here, standing really essentially on nothing. But officially, you're standing on the edge of the cake. So boom, that's a thing you can do. You could probably make some crazy parkour like this if you wanted to, even without crouching. And then, yeah, basically, cake, crazy item, so many things I want to talk about. But, you know, this video is about the history, and that is the history explained. So one more thing today is to mention that the entire Beta 1.2 update came out today. So also, today is officially the birthday. If you like recognizing Minecraft items and their birthday, it's not just Cake's birthday, it's everyone else's favorite opposite thing to Cake. That's right, it is also the anniversary, or the birthday, of charcoal being added to the game. Charcoal was only first added in the 1.2 beta update. Why is this not working? Like, it's cooking, but nothing's heading across. Have you ever seen anything like that? Well, I just found a new bug today where I can't find charcoal. And I've never seen that before, I don't think. But yeah, there you go. There's a fun little fact. My thing doesn't work, but that doesn't really matter anyway, because it's kind of cool. So there you go. Hope you all enjoyed this video about cake. Hope you all celebrate with a little bit of your own cake. And yeah, just remember, even some of the weirder items in Minecraft can become iconic. And also, even an item that seems like it's a food item really is the weirdest food item that arguably isn't even food because of the way you use it. And arguably, it's the most interesting item. And arguably, I mean, is this even food because it breaks all the rules of food? That's a decision you have to make by yourself. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like if you liked it, share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and subscribe if you like these videos, because it's, I don't know, it makes me feel good and boost that subscriber counter. We're on the road to 1 million eventually, hopefully this year, and you can help that by simply subscribing to this channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.